Hi, it's Emily or Emmy Rose 22A, and welcome back to Flosstube number 8. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm a little froggy. Today is Friday, April 24th, 2026, and I am coming back to you with a recap of the Stitch West retreat that was last weekend here in Ogden, Utah, and an update of my cross-stitch progress and what I've been up to otherwise in my crafty endeavors. So to start off, I usually start with my fully finished cross-stitch objects, and I only have one of those from this month, and that was my smalls exchange piece for the retreat last weekend. I did record a little video before I went to the retreat with my smalls exchange pieces that I did put together and my table gifts. So I will insert that video right here. I wanted to pop on really quick and kind of go through my smalls exchange items and my table gifts for Stitch West. It is Friday, April 17th, and I am actually getting ready to head out the door. So I need to throw these together, and that's kind of my last thing before I leave. So I went for a patriotic theme for my smalls exchange, and my stitched piece that I did is Patriotic Parade. Sorry, I've got a window over here. I'm in my family room right now because that's where everything is, and my craft room's kind of a mess from finishing everything yesterday. So Patriotic Parade by Shepherd's Bush. I stitched it on a 28 count natural DMC linen that I picked up at Michael's, and I did a color conversion. When I stitched the original of these, it came with the kit, so it had I believe, well, it had floss, but it had overnights. And so I went with the DMC conversions. I have it right here. I guess I can put the numbers I used down in the description box if you're interested in what colors I used. So, and I did a little, to finish it, I did a pillow, so it's got a little flange right there with the rickrack. This was a white rickrack. I did spray it with some antiquing spray, so it's not quite so bright white. It looks pretty white still compared to the red and the blue. And then I have the blue floral on the front and a light blue on the back. I think that came out really cute. And then for a piece to kind of go with it, I embroidered. This is from Primrose Cottage Patriotic Embroidery Trio. I did the America, and I initially stitched it in the blue. I used the same colors as the red, white, and blue from this. I chose the lightest denim. This is on an upcycled piece of denim, so it was a pair of pants that were wholly and no longer wearable. So I stitched it on there. I figured that was very like American denim. Anyway, the blue didn't show up very well, so I chose the next shade lighter. I think the blue is 3750, and so I pulled 3752 and looped around it so it was legible. And then I did a red rickrack top and bottom in the same light blue that's on the back of this one, and it has the navy fireworks on the back. And the fabric for these came from Red, White, and True by Danny Mogstad for Riley Blake. And then my last piece is, I think this is super fun. I found these panels in my mom's when we were looking for just patriotic fabric, and there were 8 in a strip of fabric. So I cut it out and put a backing fabric on it, and I used a fusible fleece fused to the front of the flag, and then I used a stiffer interfacing fused to the back. And I just I didn't want to stitch around it and add an extra stitching line or anything weird like that, so I didn't want a whip stitch to show, so I just took some fusible and basically glued it together on the bottom. So it's very thin, but it's stiff. I mean, it holds itself up. I thought it would be really cute just to tuck in somewhere. There were 8 of these on the strip I found, and I wanted to use 3 for me and 3 for my mom. I'm going to make us a banner, but I think I'm going to finish them this exact same way. They may or may not have the same backing fabric, but we have another fabric that we have kind of a lot of that I might use for the back, but I thought that was really cute. And then I found this really fun star plate. So I've just kind of arranged everything on the star plate so it will like sit on a table or a shelf. And there's your little, that's my smalls exchange. I'm gonna put it in a box and wrap it up. I will take a picture and insert a picture here of what it looks like once it's all wrapped. And I did a little, just a card, it's a Project Life card, and I put all of the information. The flag panel, this, it's probably very old fabric, both of these. The panel is from the fabric lines Georgetown by Moda, and the backing is from, it's Freedom by Sweetwater for Moda, if you're interested. Again, they're probably very old fabric lines, so I don't know if you can even find them anymore, but they were something my mom had in her stash. And then for table gifts, I make floss drops. I use them often out of upcycled cardboard. So cardboard boxes, crackers, cereal, brownies, oatmeal, Girl Scout cookies, all kinds of things. So I made little sets, and something new I'm kind of adding to them, kind of playing with, is a coordinating cabochon, floss bling. So I've made 7 sets of these. So they have the bigger hole for your floss and a second hole for your extras, and the hole at the top for to go on your ring. These ones have, I think the holes, yep, the hole's big enough that it can slide through like your hook on your cable. This is one of the cable ties, or if you have the clippy kind, it'll go over the hinge. So there's the Life cereal ones. I have some Cheerios Oat Crunch, Triscuits. I try to get as many floss drops as I can out of the packaging. So some of them, depending on the dimensions, I have very little like leftover waste, and that's what I punched the cabochon out of. So that one's just got some wheat for the Triscuits. This one's one of my favorite floss blings. It's Quaker oatmeal, and I got the Quaker guy. It's kind of fun trying to figure out images you can punch out of things. Cheez-Its, cute Cheez-It. This one's really fun. It's a cereal called Crave, so it's like chocolatey. So I just think the drops are really fun. And my last one is Chicken and a Biscuit. So it's Chicken and Bisque, which kind of cracks me up. But Chicken and Biscuits, they're really fun to do, because on the back they have the like snack thing. So you have your milk, you have your easy cheese. So it kind of makes me laugh. Anyway, at some point I'm thinking I would like to sell these as an upcycled, floss drop sets. I do them in sets of 10. That's how I'm doing them right now. It's what I've kind of decided it works. Most of them I can get 10 out of just like one package. If not, I either wait till I have a second one, like the Girl Scout cookies. I think I can only get 6 out of a thing, but like we eat 2 boxes of Thin Mints, so I would pull the second, and then I might have sets that are kind of just combo leftovers, or if I have 8 or 9 of a type, I would pull a couple from another one, because some of these, like on the chicken biscuits, I know this one says chicken and biscuit, but if like I get the nutritional information, you wouldn't be able to tell that from a different box, like that it was not a chicken and the biscuit nutritional information, unless you know your crackers that well. So I'm just gonna put those in little baggies. Oh, I had the baggies right here, and I just put everything on top of them, so now I'm not seeing them. There's little bags, and I've got again little Project Life cards that I've written my information on, and then I'll show you those finished as well. I'm going to tie them up with a little ribbon to kind of zhuzh them up, and I think this is kind of fun. The ribbons I'm using are all ribbons that when you shop at Shepherd's Bush, they put your items in the Shepherd's Bush bag, and then they tie a ribbon on the top, and these are all Shepherd's Bush ribbons that I've gotten from my various purchases from them. So let me get my things wrapped up, and I'll be right back to show you the final things, and then I will get my car loaded and get on the road. Okay, everything is wrapped and ready to go, so I figured I would just show you really quickly. So this is how I wrapped my smalls exchange. My husband made me a little box tray so I could lay the platter thingy down in there so everything would stay flat. This is actually a dollar store tablecloth that I just cut into a square and bunched to the top so it's easily wrapped. It's got a bow tied around it. I have added a little tag so I can put my name and table number, so if they'd like to find me, they can. My hope is they just pull the thing, it opens up, and they can see the presentation just straight in the box. So they don't have to like figure out how to put things or whatever. It is kind of a large thing for a smalls exchange, but I think it'll be okay. And my table gifts, I think, packaged up super cute. Here's one of them. I did put a couple of duck promises in there. So there's the floss drops and the bling promises, just my little card. Just a cute little plaid baggie with the cute bow on the top. So I have a whole little passel of those with different bows. So I just think they came out super cute. These were just the flat gift bags. They had the adhesive at the top, so they would have been like a flat square. So I just folded the adhesive over the ribbon and just kind of, so when I tied the bows, it kind of just gathered them and bunched them up. So it kind of gave them just a little cuter look than just a flat pocket. So a little craftier. I may have to trim. Well, I didn't want to trim any of the ribbons because they can reuse them if they want, just like I did. So I figured I'd leave them as much ribbon as they could possibly have. So I think that's everything that I need to pack up for the retreat, and it is just about time to go. So I'm not going with anybody this time, so we'll see who I end up sitting with. I'm super excited to meet some new stitchy friends because I'm sure I will make some over the weekend, and I will be back. For you, you'll have already probably been watching part of it, but next Friday is it'll be the 4th Friday, so that's my recording Friday. So I am planning on coming back for that. So I will see you then. Bye. Alrighty, and I did have quite a few finishes this month. I didn't quite realize there were so many. I was really excited when I was pulling my things together. The first one I finished about 2 days after I filmed last month. And I am super excited to have this one done. And that is Where Love Grows by Brenda Gervais, or With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And I received this at the Shepherd's Bush retreat in October of 2024. And this was just a market release in March as well. So it's available to everybody. So here is my finish. And like I said, I couldn't be happier with how it came out. I used the called for fabric. We got a full kit for this one, so everything is the called for. So this is 36 count Summer Khaki linen by Zweigart, and I used the called for mostly DMC. There was 2 weeks sage and teal frost and a classic colorworks hickory sticks, and I added one more floss bayberry for the bricks. So like I said, I couldn't be more happy with how it turned out. I got my initials down here over 1, like she shows in the pattern. She gave us a full alphabet and numbers to do that. The little bees have lazy daisies. This grass here is all Smyrna crosses. There's a bunch of satin stitch, the curtains, the ribbon going through there. The steps are satin stitched. The bee skep is satin stitched. So lots of fun specialty stitches. There's a 4-sided stitch around the robin's eyes to give them a little, to make them pop a little. So very fun stitch. I am super happy to have this done, and I will be getting it framed, or finding a frame for it, I guess. I need to take my measurements and figure out what size it is, if I can get a standard frame or if I need to get a custom, if I need to make a frame or have a frame made. It looks like the finished size should be 10 1/8 by 7 1/2, so an 8 by 10 wouldn't work for that, so I may have to see what else I can find. But I'm super happy to have that one done. I did start that at the retreat in October, so And then, like I said, I actually finished at the end of March. Like I said, a couple days after I filmed last, I got it done. And then after that one, this one was not going to be a finish. It was supposed to just be put 100 stitches in and move on, but I felt like I was so close that I really just wanted to finish it up. So, and this is Home of the Free by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And I did this to be a companion piece to my Salute to Abigail. So it is stitched on the 36 count Weeks Confederate Gray. Same as my Salute to Abigail, and I used the same silks that I used in Salute to Abigail. So here is my finish for that. And I want to finish this into a pillow to put with in the same area as Salute to Abigail. So I'm really happy with how that came out, and at least on camera, the because is showing really, really well. It's a little ghosty on theirs, and it was looking a little ghosty. I think, as I said, I used 1 strand over 2 for most of this. On the because I did use 2 strands just to give it a little extra pop. So I think I had to finish this whole bottom part. Like I said, once I got going, it was going quickly. And as I was making good progress, I just wanted to keep on it until I got it done. So again, I'm really happy to have that one finished. And that was my patriotic stitching, like for last month and this month, but I did more. As I mentioned, I went to Stitch West this last weekend in Ogden. I live in Layton, and it was in Ogden, about 15 miles north of me. I wanted to work on a patriotic piece while I was at the retreat. I thought I might do one of my new market releases, but I didn't have the right fabrics and all the flosses for those, and I really didn't know that I wanted to necessarily like buy all of that beforehand, because I was going to Stitch West for the weekend, and then I'm going to Stitch West St. George, I guess is what they're calling it, with Primrose in July. And then I did get into the Golden Needle Retreat in Texas in September. So I have several retreats coming up where I can buy floss. You know, I'll be at stores and whatnot. So I didn't necessarily want to buy supplies to kit something up separately from the retreats. So I went with something that I knew I had the floss for. I didn't have the fabric, but there were 4 different fabric dyers as vendors in the retreat. So I knew I'd be able to find a fabric, and I found a perfect one. So I started and finished while I was at the retreat the America Berry by Erica Michaels. That was a freebie for shops that went to market, and it's also a download from Fat Quarter Shop. That's where I got mine. Here's a picture of what the finished America Berry looks like, and here is mine. Again, super happy with how this came out. I'm thrilled that I was able to get it done, started and finished at the retreat. So I put my first stitches in, and I was able to ring the bell. This is stitched on a 32 count one of a kind from Lapin Loops. She was one of the vendors at the retreat. So she had some one of a kinds, and I went through those to find one that I thought would work really well. And I absolutely love the way this looks on it. And I stitched this in, I used my own kind of color conversion. This is last 2 years ago. I was kind of looking for a good like patriotic palette. I want to stitch some of the Summer Memories patterns, and there were some other patterns I wanted to do. So I did some freebies, my Independence Day, and I did I think it's called 1776. I'm not sure who it's by. I should be fully finishing that one soon, so I'll be able to show you. So I came up with these colors, Schoolhouse Red from Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks Wavy Navy. This wasn't in the America Berry, but my light blue, or medium blue, I guess, is Classic Colorworks Summer Sky. And then the white I used was 3865. And then for the summer memories, I needed a brown and a green. So my green is Weeks Collards and my brown is Weeks Havana. So if I need to add a brown and a green with those, I can. For this pattern, I needed a couple of, let's see, the brown for the eagle. I ended up going, I believe it's the called for 839, and the light brown for his feet, I used 680. They may not be the called for colors. These are just TMCs. What I did is I went through the called fors on the pattern, and if I didn't have the what was there like on hand, I kind of searched for best or closest color, and or went through kind of what I had on hand to substitute. And I did end up using B5200 on my America Berry because I needed the little brighter pop of white. The 3865 wouldn't have shown up super well on my fabric, so I went with the brighter white. And then one thing I did differently in the pattern, the stars are charted in the white. There are little white, yeah, I think you can see them, the little quilt block thingies that are around. Those are in white, and the stars were in white. And so, as you can see, the quilt blocks are kind of ghosty. I like them like that. And Nicole Spohr did her stars in a gold color. So I loved that. And I also wanted to do my stars in a gold color. So, again, I just pulled my DMCs that I have on hand and pulled anything that looked goldish and held them up to my other colors. And I ended up with 3852 for my gold. I'm counting this as a finish because it was finished at the time. There was an America Berry on the brag table, and I was showing it as I was showing it to my mom. I saw that on theirs they had stitched, and they did theirs in back stitch up above here and here, just above the Liberty and Justice. They added 1776 and 2026, and I want to do that too. And they added it in the red, so it kind of pulls the red up to the top, and it's a cute, you know, little nod to the 250th. So I do also want to do that. So it's not technically 100% finished, but it is done enough for now. And I want to stitch another one of these for my mom, and it'll be the exact same thing. My fabric's a fat quarter, so I'll probably just, you know, pop down a little bit on the fabric and stitch another one. I don't know, it won't be a 3-day stitch again because I won't have all day to stitch, although we all know I wasn't stitching the whole time. Lots of shopping and friends and fun to be had. I will go more into the retreat near the end after I get through all of my whips and whatnots. So there was that finish. And then my last finish I just got last night, and this is from Prairie Schooler. It's Prairie Year 2. And this month I was working on the May block. I don't know if it's not focusing very well on that. It's the pretty pansy in the big white pot. And I got mine done. And I am stitching this on, it's just a 36 count. Is it flax? It's pretty much just a, let's see if my, oh, of course I don't have it in my, Notion easily. Let's see here. Let's see what my finishes are. I should have, I put it in something. Oh, it's 36 count light mocha linen. Sorry, I thought I had that all figured out. So I'm really happy with how that came out. And so this is May. Yes, January, February, March I had done before. So April and now May. And on all 5 of these, I know exactly what fabric I want to put on the back. So I really should get them cut out and fully finished so that I can have my monthly pillows all done, since I know exactly which fabrics I want to put on the back. I'm going to finish them similar to how Prairie Schooler did. I'm just going to do a fairly simple pillow. finish with them. I don't plan on doing any trim around them or anything. They will have fun fabrics on the back. I have, like for the May one, I have a pansy fabric that I want to put on the back of that. That would be really pretty. So I'm pretty excited about that one. So I was happy to get that one done last night. So other things I worked on this month for whips. Let me see. I do have myself a little better organized, so I'm not reaching down for everything today. I will have to reach down a little bit a little later, but for my Halloween stitching, I did get my 100 stitches in on Frady Felix from With a Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. I'm working on the second one, the one for my mom, because I want to get both of them done before I fully finish, so I can fully finish them at the same time. So here is my progress on that. And I finished the E, and I did the D and the C and the bittersweet up there. And I added the little cat statue-y thing there. And that was my 100 stitches for the month. I think I still have 700 stitches to go. So I will have it done by Halloween this year. Whether that's the, whether I stick to the 100 stitches a month or I put extra stitches in 1 month just to get it done, I will have it done. I want them fully finished for Halloween this year. And the colors I'm using, I can show you from my, this is the one I have already finished. So my words are in Weeks Taupe. And then my, the things that are green, the cat and the little gargoyle birds down here, those are done in Weeks Ivy. Oh, that must be my pumpkin stem is Weeks Sage, and my pumpkin is Weeks Clockwork. And then for the bittersweet, because they were only the few stitches for the bittersweets, my green leaves are DMC 730, the lighter orange is 3853, and the darker orange is 920. So those are the colors I'm using on this as a conversion. It's an older pattern, so the colors listed I think might have been specialty colors that year or something. I couldn't find them. The other whip I'm working on is my wooden stars that I got from Michael's. I think I had talked about these last month, that I wanted to stitch these up. So I got the white stitched around, and I'm filling all this in with blue. I will have 2 like this, and then I'll have 2 that are red and white striped. And I am stitching these with DMC Pearl, size 5 pearl cotton. In my blue is 336, my red is 498, and my white is 3865. I really kind of picked my Patriotic colors based on what Michael's had in stock. They don't have a huge selection, but I wanted to get going on them, and I had a good coupon, a 40% off coupon, so I wanted to get them at the 40% off. And like I said, I didn't want to wait to have them shipped or anything, so I just went with what they have. But I really like them, and I really like the coverage of the size 5 on the stars. The only other thing I think I might do is on the outside, I might take some antiquing wax and antique the outside of that, because it's not, I don't know if I love the light wood look. And I'm not, I probably, well, if I was going to do that, I should have done it before I started stitching, but I might be able to just kind of tape it off and be okay. And I might try the next one before I start. I'm pretty sure that will be a lot easier. I just don't want a whole lot of wax in the holes, because I don't want the white thread to pull the wax through, is the only thing. I didn't think of that until after I'd already started, or I would have experimented a little bit. But so I can stitch on these in the car. So that's kind of what I've been doing while waiting to pick up my daughter from school, and just little, you know, instead of knitting, sometimes I have been working on those in the car. So those are all of my cross stitch projects that I have worked on. I did have a few non-cross stitch things that I did this month. I did fully finish my niece's sweater, and gifted that to her. I was able to give it to her on Easter, so that got completely done and gifted. And I had some leftover yarn, and so I decided to make her and my daughter little crocheted peeps for their Easter gift. So it's the pink sparkly yarn from my niece's sweater, and I can leave a link to the pattern I used. I just found one online that looked fairly simple. So you made the front and the back and single crocheted them together, stuffed them, put the little safety eyes for the peep things. One thing with the safety eyes that I did, because this isn't super thick, and if you've ever worked with safety eyes, they have a spiky end. So after I put the safety eyes on and I got the washers on, and then I took my wire cutters and just cut them a little shorter so that, like, as you're squeezing them, you don't get stabbed by the end of the safety eyes. I just took the pointy ends off. So I did 2 of those, and this one's Tabitha's, so I do have hers here. Another thing I did, we did teacher appreciation this last week at school, and so our PTA kind of is fun for the teacher appreciation. We put the teachers and staff into 4 different teams, and they have activities that they compete in, and there's a winning team, and the kids really get into like supporting their teachers' teams. And this year they went kind of with a nautical type theme. And so our team was Team Purple Jellyfish. There was orange starfish, blue crab, and green sea turtle, as well as purple jellyfish. So on Wednesday, your teacher got points for how many of their students wore their team colors. So Wednesday was Wear Purple Day. And since I'm maybe a little extra, I made Tabitha a shirt for her day. I made her a purple jellyfish shirt. I think it's super cute anyway, and she's going to wear it way beyond that. But we went to Target to try to find just a plain purple t-shirt for me to put it on. And they had a plain purple, and then they had this one. It's kind of a periwinkle, so it's blue, not purple specifically. But it had the Let's Go Team on it, and it was on clearance for $4. So I was like, well, this is a cheaper shirt, and it says Let's Go Team. So to us, it says Let's Go Team Purple Jellyfish, which was super cute. So, and she wore her purple skirt and purple socks. So, I mean, she was wearing her teacher's team colors. So that was a lot of fun to put together. I just found a cute jellyfish SVG, file online. It just had the black eyes and mouth, which looked a little plain to me, and with the dark purple top, they weren't super obvious, so I added the whites to the eyes. And then she liked another one that had pink cheeks. She's like, I really like its little cheeks, so I just added cheeks to this one. So that worked out. And then one other big kind of thing I did that was very interesting and fun. I cleaned out my shed this spring. The closet in the January, I did that. And I cleaned out the shed a few years ago, but I hadn't cleaned out the closet. And I knew, like, there were some of my books from college, my textbooks and stuff from college that I needed to do something with. I knew there were some pictures out there that we needed to do something with. And I knew there was a big wardrobe box in there that I wanted to get out of there so my decorations could all fit. Because our Christmas decorations were in there, but we got more Halloween decorations, and I was just hoping to put some of my other seasonal decorations out there so they're all more in the same place. So I needed more room, and I was pretty sure that wardrobe box could come out of there. I was pretty sure our prom dresses, like mine and my sister's from high school, were in there. Our formal dresses. Sorry, I just kicked the tripod. And I didn't know what else was. And it was some random things from my closet. I moved home from Massachusetts in 2002. And my bedroom was kept my bedroom because my niece came here. So it was technically her bedroom, not my bedroom. But my mom had a bunch of stuff in the closet. And so when I moved back home, I needed room in the closet, and I had gotten a U-Haul wardrobe box to hang my closet stuff in to move it home. So we took all of my clothes out, took the stuff from this closet, and put it in the wardrobe box and put that out in the shed kind of for storage. So that stuff had just been out there. So we went through that and donated a bunch of things, and I brought the dresses all in. And as I was looking at them, there were several that were like of similar types. They're all a size 8 to 10. My sister and I were much smaller in those days. But I had the thought, we went to see Phantom of the Opera in April. And I had the thought, I really wanted to wear a fancy dress, like go to the thrift store or something and get prom dresses. But then when I had brought these dresses in, I was like, I bet we could do something to these to make them work. There were enough similar type ones that I was pretty sure I could Frankenstein bodices together or something and make them work. As it turns out, I only ended up doing one for me. And one of the dresses that I had worn to, I think, a Sweetheart's dance, was a black velvet top with a fairly full green skirt. And we had a small little black velvet dress, a short one, very fitted with just like the satin and bow across the shoulders. And it was the black velvet, just like the black velvet top. So what I did was I removed the skirt from my dress, and I took my measurements and added side panels. And I'm a small bust, large waist and hips. So I did my measurements. So I did smaller here and I made it flare. I did smaller at the bust and made it flare out as it went to the waist, kind of as I needed it. So it would fit me very well. And then, and I thought that would be all I needed, because that's, took me here. Well, it zips up, the back came up way higher, and it zipped up higher in the back. So I could get it to zip just to like my bra line, to where I had fixed it. Oh, and I added, as part of that, I added to the sleeve too. So the sleeve was bigger around, so it would fit around my arms. So it wouldn't zip up, but just at the top. So I ended up adding kind of a keyhole piece to the top back seams so that it would zip up in the back. And it ended up with a very fitted bodice. And I just took some of the gathers out of the skirt. I kind of regathered it to fit the new bodice and sewed it back on. And it was a beautiful dress. So I will insert a picture here of what the dress looked. I took a before of the dress. I hung it at my mom's before I took it apart. I rarely remember to do before and afters. And then I will also insert a picture here of us at Phantom and me wearing the dress. So it was a lot of fun. I felt like a princess. And it fit great. It was very comfortable. So it worked out really, really well. I was able to steam the skirt and get most of the wrinkles and stuff out from being in storage for 30 years. And I was able to reuse a dress that I already had. I didn't have to pay anything for a brand new dress to wear to the show. So that was pretty exciting. It definitely took some like extra brain power, if you will. I am not the most experienced garment sewer, so some of the parts were a little tricky, but I made it work and it fit. And I guess if I need a fancy dress again, I have one. And I know we have enough navy blue dresses my prom dress was navy blue, and we have 2 other navy blue dresses that I could use to merge with that one. And my sister's prom dress was a red velvet. So I'm not sure, we didn't have another red dress, but we might be able to get some red satin or different red velvet, or do something else to make that one work for her if she chose to do that. I actually have ideas on my blue one of how I could make it work. Because all of our other dresses are very like straight form-fitting dresses. But I think with my blue one, I could take and widen the bodice just like I did with this one, and then add like where the skirt joins, open that up and just add panels so I could make it a more full skirt and maybe just about knee length or something. I think would be really cute. So it'd be a little more like a cocktail dress. Put some tulle under there to give it a little bit of netting, to give it a little bit of a flare, fuller feel. I think that'd be really cute. So I probably won't worry about that until I need another dress, but they are hanging in my daughter's closet where I have room for them. If we decide we need to do some more dress surgery, Frankensteining, whatever. Alrighty, let me see where I'm at on my list. Okay, I have a little bit of haul that I got kind of just throughout the month. Like I said, I wasn't buying a whole lot because I knew I was going to retreat. One of the things I got that I had bought in January, I do believe, they got overwhelmed and it took them a while. I got my We the People fabric linen from the Primitive Hair, and this is for my Lady of the Flag. I'm going to stitch her on this. I'm really excited. So I have most of the DMCs. I need to finish getting her loaded into Markup RXP and get my color conversion also like figured out in there, and then get everything floss dropped and started. I've been trying to decide. I think she might actually be like a July start. I might start her kind of for the 250th and then just stitch her throughout the year and try to get her done soon-ish, just based on time. And I have so many like ideas for little patriotic decoration things that I would like to get done before the 4th. So I think that might be my plan with her. And then the other, I put in an order on 123 Stitch. Well, actually I had this pattern was out of stock, and so I had to notify me, and it came in, so I ordered it. It is Be Mine from Les Petites Croix. Cute little vintage Valentine's pattern. I first saw this on Fibers and Floss Canada. Erica was stitching this, and she thought, and this I think is what I want to do, she was going to stitch her separately. So there would be the little boy and the little girl. I did that backwards, but the little girl and the little boy. I feel like his hair I'll have to figure that out. But I mean, his pants, I'll just bring them down. That's not too hard to figure out the rest of it. His hair might be a little more tricky to kind of figure out, but I should be able to do something with that. Or like I said, Erica had talked about that, so I was going to reach out to her, and if she got it figured out, maybe see if she would share her ideas with me. But I bought a trifold. It was a mirror with 2 picture frames on either side. And I did the Be My Valentine, that kind of vintage stitch that I did for my mom, and then I stitched me one also. And I had thought to do something with vintage ephemera or something on either side, but it would be super cute with these 2 on either side. And I might change. I need to look at what, it's all DMCs. It's charted in all DMCs. So I need to look at what the colors are for the blues, but I may alter those to match the blues in the Be My Valentine. Or if these coordinate close enough, I may just leave them, but I think it would be super cute with the boy and the girl on either side and the Be My Valentine in the middle. They totally go together. So I would also have to look at sizing, because I mean, she's got a very wide dress, and I don't know what size fabric calls for a 32 count, but I can stitch on 36. I can stitch on 40. So if I needed to make them smaller, if that would make them fit, that would be great. The whole design is 96 by 100, so it's not super huge, but there is a lot of, it looks like there are a lot of maybe fractional stitches, and there is a lot of back stitch on this. So that's another thing I bought. So those are the only 2 things I actually bought like apart from the retreat. So now I am going to move on to Stitch West Spring. So it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Marriott in Ogden, as I said, put on by Snug Harbor Crafts. This is my 3rd year going. I went on my own the first year. I had reached out to Amber, Rogue Mama Stitcher, beforehand. She is from Vernal, Utah, but she was going to be in town for some training. So we met up and had dinner like the week before. And so I was going to try to sit with her or by her, and she had some other friends there, and they had saved her a spot at the table, but there wasn't any other room at the table, which was fine. So I sat at the table next to her, and I met my table 19 girls. So last year, all but one of them came back to Stitch West Spring. So there were 7 out of the 8 of us back again. And we do Zoom calls on Fridays and stuff. So that was a lot of fun. So I wasn't, so this year, none of them were able to come back. And so I was on my own. It's so close. I drive back and forth every day. So it's a very inexpensive retreat for me. So I decided I still wanted to go. I was very nervous about going alone. I didn't go super early to line up or anything. I figured it might be a little easier if I was just looking for a lone seat at one of the tables. And so I kind of walked in and walked around a little, and table 19 was quite empty. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back to table 19 for, like, you know, comfort, convenience, whatever, or if I wanted to try something different. But like I said, it was quite empty. So I did head back there, and I'm very glad I did. I met some, table 19 is just a great table. I met some more great people this year. I sat with Mary, who was vending for BU Needleworks, and her friend Kathy, who was there to help her. And then so it was the 3 of us, and then we had 2 more ladies join us, Gina and Helena from Florida. So it was just the 5 of us at the table. So it was a fairly small table, but it was great. I had a lot of fun with them. It was great chatting with them, getting to know them. It was fun, like sitting with Mary and learning about, like, she is basically an online, like, needlework store. So she had floss, she had patterns, she has a CNC machine. So she had some wood cutout things. She had some like silk ribbon, lots and lots of fun stuff. And so I bought a bunch of floss from her, and we all helped her pack it up at the end, which was an interesting Tetris type thing, trying to get her suitcases not overweight. So that's who I sat with. Our gifts from the retreat from Snug Harbor, when we came in, we were given a stitching tray, and it has the Snug Harbor anchor, and a day spent cross stitching is a good day, is what it says. And it's just one of these book stand type things. And then this one has these arms to, like, hold your device in. So that's pretty handy. And then it folds pretty much flat, so you can store it. I like a good stitching tray, so I was pretty excited to get that. And this is super cute. So this is what I used for the weekend. I set my iPad on here when I'm stitching so I can see what I'm doing. And then the last day they gave us another gift, these really cute scissors. Nice and sharp, cute. They came with the cute little tassel on them and the little needle sheath, and the sheath has a magnet on the back, so the sheath can stick to your stitching tray, or if you had another magnet, like from a needle minder, you could stick it to your stitching. And so the scissors come out and your sheath stays there, so you can have them nice and handy and around. It kind of helps your scissors stay in too, because the magnet sticks to your scissors also. So those were our gifts from Snug Harbor. And then the next thing that everybody got, our designer for the retreat. It's kind of an open stitch retreat, but we do have a designer. They come and they tell a little bit about themselves and their design, and we get a kit for a design. So the designer for this one was Summer House Stitchworks. Beth. I can't think of her last name now, but I know it's Beth. So we got, the design we got is called Daisy Hill. It's this really cute house with these, let me pull it out for you. Sorry, I try to think of that, but I don't always. Let's see. There you go. With these humongous daisies and these 3 golden retrievers, which symbolize her and her son and daughter's dog. doggies, and their mom was Daisy. So that's part of why it's Daisy Hill. And she also said, kind of as a reference too, that Snoopy was born at the Daisy Hill Puppy Farm. So from Peanuts. So it's really pretty. And so she gave us, as part of our kit, just a sec, I got a couple of extras in there. As part of our kit, she gave us a cut oval to finish it on. We got all of the DMC to stitch it with. And she gave us a floss ring. And she does, which is really nice, a laminated floss card, which has the symbols and the colors. So you can put that on your floss ring. So, you know, if you're stitching the circle, you know exactly which one to go for, which I really, really like. And she gave us the ring to put them on. We got this really cute daisy waxer. It looks like these were made by Noteworthy Needle. It says noteworthyneedle.com on the back. We got these really cute stickers. Needlework fills my heart and home. So a nice big sticker. And as a bonus, we got this cute little home, I guess it's called Hive. This hive pattern also. So that's really cute. A fun drum. And this is an older pattern of hers. So, and since we're the Beehive State, that's probably why she chose to give us this pattern, because we are in Utah. The retreat was in Utah. So that was what came in our kit, and she did a wonderful presentation. It was really fun to hear her background and, you know, her design story. And if you don't know this about Beth, she is in a local choir and she sings. So she sang for us. Apparently she sang at another retreat, and so she asked if anybody had any questions for her, and somebody piped up, "Will you sing?" So she's like, "Oh, did you hear that I sang at the something else retreat?" And that was, yes, they had. So she sang beautifully for us. And then at her booth at the retreat, she had a cut of, she had 3 different fabrics. It's just vintage, not just, but this was stitched on vintage country mocha. So the model was stitched on 32 count linen, which is what I got. She also had 16 count Aida, and she had 40 count linen if that's what you wanted. And she also had little packets of the Lady Dot Mother Load trim, which was the trim she used. She finished it on the oboe, mounted on top of a fabric covered mat board that was put in an 8x10 frame, which I know she's done that. I've seen her do that before. I think that's how most of the Between Friends samplers are finished, that she did with a hands-on design. And the fabric she used was something she had in stash from maybe 2016 or older. But there was a Kim Deal line that she said would work. And it just so happened that Kim Deal was at the retreat. So Catherine called her out. So Beth was kind of like excited and fangirling over the fact that Kim Deal was actually there. So that was really like cute and funny. And she went and gave her a hug in the middle of her presentation. So that was fun. So I love that pattern. I'm excited to stitch on it. I'm not sure when it will fit in to my rotation, but like I said, I really love those big daisies. It's very spring, but it also could kind of, daisies aren't a fall flower, but just the colors kind of vibe a little fallish for me. And because it's so spring, it may be that I don't stitch it until next spring. We'll have to see how it goes. I've got it fully kitted, so I can start it anytime. Next, I will go through, I shopped like crazy, way more than I really thought I would. So as I mentioned, there were 4 fabric dyers in the room. So the first I went through, I knew one of the fabrics I knew I wanted was Betsy Ross from Live and Die LA. And I don't know, it's kind of a very faded red, white, and blue colorway. I wanted this to stitch, is it Queen of Freedom? I think that's the other pattern that Mirabilia released. I had seen that she had this colorway, and I had thought, I'm like, Queen of Freedom will be beautiful on that fabric. So that's why I got the 32 count of that. So I bought that the first day, and she had a retreat color called In Faded Glory. Is that what it's? I've got a little tag in here that I can't read because it's behind my floss. And it was a similar colorway, but darker tones. And she had flosses that coordinated. So I got the 3 floss pack, the blue, red, white, and it's a tannish color, but I thought I really liked those. And there's a lot of, you can see a lot of variegation in the flosses. So I think those will be really pretty. And I had picked up a pattern to stitch with these. So I will show you that in a minute. So I got those from my first pass because I was pretty sure I had wanted those from what I had seen before. And I got my Lapin Loops on the first pass. And then as we sat there and I kind of contemplated things, I ended up going back and for With Thy Needle and Thread, I wanted to get fabric for With Thy Needle and Threads Quaker Snippets number 3, the patriotic one that she just released at market that I got. I'm going to stitch Freedom Flock on my 36 count weeks Confederate Gray, left over from Home of the Brave and Salute to Abigail. So I was good on that one, but I knew I needed fabric on the other, and I wanted a 40 count. And as I was looking around, I wasn't seeing one that was really looking like the picture. And so I asked Valerie of Live and Die LA what she thought, and she suggested this color, Malt of the Earth, and it's in the 40 count Verdal, which I've never stitched on this. It's an even weave. It is so soft. It almost looks like a regular fabric, like there aren't holes at all. So I'm hoping under my magnifier I won't have a problem with it. Especially in the 40 count, the linen tends to grab the green dyes just a little bit more. So comparing linen Malt of the Earth to this Malt of the Earth, this one's a little more browny yellowy, the other one's a little more greeny. So I went with this one, and this is what I was looking for based on the picture of the pattern. Lightly modeled, a lighter fabric. So I'm really excited that I got that. And I wanted to try the Verdal last year, and I waited until the very last day to try to get it. So there wasn't like the color I wanted in that. So I wasn't able to get it. And then when I was looking at Lapin Loops One of a Kinds, she had another, or her sale fabric, she had another one of a kind. It was a 28 count linen. And I can stitch on 28 count. I just have to stitch with 2 strands over 2, and it slows me down a little bit. So it's not always my favorite, but this one I couldn't get out of my mind. So this is another one of a kind. But isn't that like a beautiful fall Halloween? Oh, the brown and orange and green mottled. So I had to get that one. Then as I was looking at that one, this is one of her colorways that her husband had misread the formula, so it didn't come out nearly as dark as it was supposed to. And the normal color is more of a grayish model like this, but for some reason the 40 count picked up the purple a lot more than the gray, so it's kind of a purpley gray mottled, very pale. I could see like a monochrome something on this, or something kind of a Halloween would look amazing on this too, or a spring, because it does have those purple undertones, and with the right springy colors it might pull some more stuff. But this is Lapin Loops again, so I got that one. The one of a kinds were 30% off, so I justified it because they were a little bit, like they were significantly less expensive. And then the other 2 dyers that were there, Millennial Fabrics, whom I have heard of, and I've seen some beautiful fabrics from on Flosstubes and whatnot. And she had so many gorgeous like pastel-y type colors. I kind of struggle with those. I love them, but they don't feel super universal to me. I haven't stitched anything on something like that enough to maybe know where I want to use it. But she had this colorway, Cocoa Pod. It's this beautiful, like deep brown. It reminds me of somebody came up with one, something soil, like at market or before like, I don't know, Tara Sullivan was stitching something on it. There's a pattern that came out that used that soil color. So I thought a dark brown might be, and it's just so pretty and mottled. And so I got that in a 36 count. And then Those Missing Stitches was also there, and I've heard a lot about her. And she also had a lot of neutrals too. I have, in general, a hardish time just buying fabric without a pattern planned for it. So sometimes I struggle. But I loved this color. It's called Brave Boromir. And I got it in a 40 count linen, and it's this deep blue. But I could see this being night sky or underwater. Something like that could be really pretty. So I got that one also. And like I said, I wanted to support all of the fabric dyers in the room, so I did. Good job, Emily. Keep them all in business. Just kidding. I'm not the only one. I know it. And then just kind of from shopping around, I think it's the Blue Wagon had their little Ort containers. They're on this is like a plastic ring, and they have a cardboard bottom. And so it's twisted at the top. You pop it down and it untwists, and it's like a little can. I mean, you could put clips or something in this and just set it on your thing. I used it for my Orts for the weekend. And then so I've left them in there so I could show you that, like, I just had this sitting on my table, and then when I was packing up to leave, you just twist the bottom and it creates just that tiny pinhole, and your cardboard bases fit into the plasticky ring, and it's just a little thing, and all my Orts are contained in there. Teeny pinhole, none of them are coming out. So really cute fabric. So I did get one of those. This is one of those things I could probably make this, but the time it would take me to kind of engineer it and do it, it was totally worth buying. I might figure out how to make it now that I have them, but I saw it there, and I wanted to support the vendors there, so I bought one at least. So very fun, very cute, made me happy. And then Debbie and Kefren, the Snug Harbor Crafts, Debbie had made some things for the retreat, and I don't know why I wanted this so badly, but I kept seeing them up there, and I just really, really wanted one. So I got me a cute little crown pincushion. They're so it's so sparkly and pink, and it's kind of a rose goldy pink. The crown with the wool ball in the middle. Cute. She painted the base to match. Just a super cute little pincushion decoration. Like I said, it's just so pink and sparkly and blingy, and it just makes me happy. So I had to get that. And then I saw this one first. I got a couple of needle minders from Woolly for You, and she has beautiful wool, but again, I don't tend to buy wool without knowing what I'm going to do with it. So I have so much stash of so many things that I try not to get just at stash for things that I don't know, like, what I'm going to do with them. So I saw this steampunk dragonfly needle minder. And I love dragonflies, and I love the steampunk element of this. So I got this one, and kind of next to it was this beautiful, super sparkly, purpley, pinky bee. So I had to get her too, because she's just so pretty. And I do have her card. I will link all the vendors down below. And as kind of a freebie, her little freebie is like a little sheep bobbin that says Woolly for You, and then she's got a QR for her Etsy store on the back. So I loved that too. I keep them kind of together for today. I have them all sandwiched together. Kind of fun. And then from Mary's shop, BU Needleworks, I went through her floss that she had, and I pulled the colors that I needed that she had in stock that would work for Freedom Flock and the Brenda Gervais, the Quaker Snippets #3. So I got some Classic Colorworks and some called for weeks, and some of these weeks are for, some of these are for another chart that I bought at Shepherd's Bush that I'll show in just a minute. So I got some of these, and then she had coloring cotton, and I've never used coloring cotton. So I went through and I just kind of went through her colors and tried to pick some colors that would be good ones. She was out of stock. Her Patriotic one sold out pretty quickly. Like Battleship is a nice deep navy blue. So I mean, I have a medium blue and a light blue, but I don't have a navy blue. And Cherry Cobbler was a red I wanted. I do have like 3 other reds. I did throw a nice orange in there. So I just kind of got some colors that would work for things. And she was really low on like the white-ish colors. I got Tusk because that's one I've heard used a lot. But there were a couple of others that I know people do tend to use. So I'm pretty excited to give these a try. And there are a couple more I would like to get. So I will probably message her at some point. I know she has another retreat in like the middle of May or first weekend. No, it's not next weekend. I think it's the weekend after, but it might be next weekend. So I know she has another retreat coming up. And she had her satin ribbons, and she didn't have any red out. So she was pulling it out, and she gifted us 2 yards of this beautiful red silk ribbon, dyed crinkly silk ribbon. So I'm really excited to ruche that onto something. Very, very generous. Sorry, I did not silence my other phone beforehand. And then as she was packing up, she gifted us, she was selling these really pretty stitching trays. They're a leather, and she engraved the cross stitch on them. So you I've seen Ort catchers made this way, that you snap your 4 corners together, and now it's a stitching tray, so you can put your scissors and your little, my Ort container can go in there, my scissors can go in there, all your things. So if you have it on the couch with you or whatever, you're not losing things, dropping things. So that was super generous of her to give us these. And I love that. And we got to pick our colors, and she had one purple one left. So of course I got purple. So I absolutely love that. And then the last thing I got from the retreat was, there were a few project bags there, and I try not to buy too many project bags because I can make project bags, and I have a lot of fabric that I've bought to make project bags. But I loved this fabric line and just the finish of this. And this is from the Beehive Stitcher. And again, I'll link her down below. I got a Patriotic bag, and I love this like Constitution fabric, and it's got the We the People right here. So my Lady of the Flag is going to live in this. It's got a big rose on the front. I flipped through and found the fabric placements that I liked best. My middle name's Rose. My daughter's middle name's Rose. And then it's kind of fun. This right here says, in commemoration of the centennial of American independence. So I think that's kind of cool that it's, in commemoration of the centennial, and now we're doing the semi-quincentennial. So, and so it's just a beautiful, the big flags, the eagle, capital, like so many beautiful images on it, and the pretty, the navy with the burgundy zipper and the star zipper charm. And then the inside is like a fun, it's a patriotic also, but it's like text and words and like music for like the national anthem, and there's a quote from there's like part of the Declaration of Independence, things like that in there. So that's a really pretty interior too. So I did get the one project bag, and like I said, this is for my Lady of the Flag, so she will live in that. So I think that's everything I bought at the retreat, as if that wasn't enough. We went over to Shepherd's Bush. I went over with Mary and Kathy, and I really hadn't planned on buying anything because I can shop at Shepherd's Bush anytime, and I do shop there fairly regularly. But as I got kind of pawing through things, and then as I waited in line and saw things I hadn't seen before, I did get a few things. I'm going to reach over and grab them really quickly. So they had their patriotic patterns up front, and I kind of flipped through those, and I saw this Long May She Wave by Blackbird, and I had never seen this before. I don't know that I've seen anybody stitch this. It is full coverage stitching of the flag, and I really like the way that top part looks. So I snatched this. I mean, it's a Blackbird, so plus I love the flag, so I'm hoping to stitch that. I don't even know what colors they used, but I may use their colors. I may use some of the colors I have. I'm not positive at this moment, but I love that. And they had, oh, the sticker's in a really bad spot for showing off the pattern. Sorry if that was a bad sound. I took the sticker off the front. I got this one from Homespun Elegance. They did it as a pin keep cupboard hanger is what they call it. It's UB Patriotic. But that I thought that sheep was super cute. His little crow friend. I love the heart finish. I think I have some light blue fabric that I could stitch it on. So I picked that up also. And then I got, they had the Caterpillar cross stitch. What's this called? Oh, Liberty Stitches. And I've seen this around a lot, and I really, really like that pattern. And the colors are a little maybe like brighter, or they are a different tone. I like a little deeper patriotic colors. But Shepherd's Bush had a sample stitched in their conversion, and so that's how I'm going to stitch mine, and that's some of the flosses I got from Mary are for the conversion that Shepherd's Bush did. And they had a piece of 32 count flax in their packaging, so I picked that up to stitch. That's what they stitched theirs on, and so I got me a piece to stitch mine on as well. So that one's almost fully kitted, and I would really like to get that started sometime this year. I don't know that I'll have it finished before July, but that's my thought there. And then they had a freebie by October House Fiber Arts. It's just a single page, and the chart's right down here. So I am going to kind of fold it up so you can see. It's the Scrappy Stars Mini, Skinny Mini is what it's called, a freebie Skinny Mini. And this pillow, the way it's originally stitched was on 36 count, and on the 36 count it finishes at 7 1/8 by 1 inch. So that is a skinny mini little pillow. So I will probably stitch it on a little bit bigger fabric. The one down below that says our version, it was stitched on 32 count Stormy Night, and it's 8 by 1.2. So I would stitch it on at least 32, maybe even a 28. I don't know, just to get it a little bit taller, but it'll still be a long skinny pillow and really cute. And I will show you the fabric I plan on using for that in just one moment. And then as I was kind of thinking about, I really wanted to get Patriotic Peacemakers from Summer House Stitchworks. It was one of her market releases. I loved it at market, but I knew she was coming to the retreat, so I didn't pre-order it or anything. I thought I would get it at the retreat, and I did not buy it the first day, and it was sold out after the first day, so I was not able to get it from them, but Shepherd's Bush had copies in stock. So I got Patriotic Peacemakers from Summer House Stitchworks, and I am going to stitch this in the Old Glory colors from Live and Die LA. They are over here. So I'm going to use these colors. I don't know if I will stitch it on the blue gray that they did. Let's see, they used, what's this, 32 count natural or raw from Zweigart, because it looks more, in the picture it looks way more gray. So I don't know, I might do it on, I don't even know. need something for this to show up on. So as long as my brown will show up, I was thinking I could use maybe even a more pale fabric that like a white doesn't pop on. So I'll have to see, but that is my thought for that, is to stitch it in the, because it is just the 3 colors. You're red, blue, and white. Red, white, and blue. So, and I think it's beautiful and I love those. So I need to figure out a fabric to go with these, but I kind of got that, 1, because Summer House Stitchworks was our designer, and 2, I wanted to stitch them with those colors. And then as I was looking just at their packaged pieces, they're kind of off-cut pieces. They had this really pretty blush 40 count Newcastle linen. So I got a piece of that. Who can't use a nice pink linen? And then, like I said, as I was waiting in line, they had their bigger stitch kits. You stitch them on the bigger fabric. It's like a 7 count or a 10 count or something like that. And these ones both have the DMC. I'm pretty sure this is how my like Patriotic Parade was stitched. And I got the USA, their market release. But it's full kit. They're I think they're $16, so they're really not expensive. And you get the fabric, floss, any beads and buttons that go with it, and they even give you needles. So I got this one, my sister, my friend. I just thought that was beautiful, and my sister would love it. So, and then I had not seen this one before. I have several kits like this, like I just mentioned, and I also did red, white, and blue from 2 years ago market of theirs, and they have an America one. So I got their America kit. So pretty excited about those. I have several like smaller kits like this from Shepherd's Bush, and when I start them, I like to iron my linen and separate my floss out onto like holders or something. So I think what I'm going to do is prep these and do all of that. Iron my linen so it's nice and flat and ready to go in the hoop. Get my flosses all sorted out onto their card and labeled, so they're completely ready to go, and put them in my little plasticky project bags. So they're just completely ready to start and like go with. I get slowed down a little because I just want something to stitch like right now, and these like this for me to pick it up right now would take a little bit of work. And I know that's lazy, but if I just have them ready to go, I will be more likely to get them stitched. Sorry, I've piled everything on top of my notes. Let me shift some things. Let me spill something. Is that what I meant? Oh, okay. Oh, I have a few more. I don't know that I even wrote this stuff down. Okay. I have my table gifts and my smalls exchange piece to show you still. And then that will be it for like what I've done. I will briefly go over plans. So for table gifts, we got, these are my scissors, but Gina made us a really pretty scissor fob, floss bling, whatever you want to call it, cute owl, and these super blingy blue beads. So I have them on one of my favorite pair of purpley scissors. Tiny tip, so it's really good for when you're pin stitching. So I've put these on here and been using those. And then Mary and Kathy gave us, they made this really cute little decor piece, a patriotic decor piece. Let's see, make sure my flag's forward. It's cute. So I'm super excited to put this in with my patriotic things. This, I guess next month, probably. End of May is when I will put mine out for Memorial Day. So they gave us that, and then they gave us a little trio of DMC flosses. Let's see if I can get them out. There. A pretty set of DMC flosses. So it is $37.77 is the red, $9.30 is the blue, and B5200 is the white. And this is what I want to use to stitch that the freebie, the October House Fiber Arts. I'm going to stitch it with these flosses since they also came from the retreat, and they are just the 3 colors. They used a different 3 colors, but I'll kind of show the bottom of the chart again. This is the secondary stitching of this, but so I will stitch it in my 3 colors, and that will be awesome. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then for the smalls exchange, this is the bag that I chose, a white one with a patriotic pinwheel. So can't really, I mean, I knew what I was getting into. I decided I gave patriotic, and I decided I wanted to go patriotic. So have a fun pinwheel, and I will start with my stitched piece. This is really pretty, and I have this pattern. I have not stitched it yet. So this is a Patriotic Round by Primrose Cottage. It was a freebie, one of their free pattern Fridays, I believe. And then I believe it's for sale now. So really cute. I think this might be a Hobby Lobby frame. It doesn't have the sticker on the back, but really cute with the palm and the plaid, beautifully stitched. I like the colors of floss she chose. They look really good on there. She put a cute hanger on the top, and she wrote kind of her information and stuff on the back, so that's kind of fun. So that's a really cute, very fun patriotic thing to add to my decor, and that one can hang on the wall, or I could set it in like on a easel or something. And then she also included, as kind of a bonus, she made a cute little like notions pouch, and inside it had these really beautiful swan scissors. These things, they glide beautifully, they cut great. It's nothing against the scissors, and they work amazing. The tip is the blades are a little thick for pin stitching. That's the only thing. Other than that, like I said, they open and close so easily. They glide, and they're so pretty. Beautiful swans. These would be gorgeous in a like scissor holder thing or something, like, you know, displayed also. And then really, really cute. Oop, I'm losing one. A really cute Saju needle book. So it's got 5 needles, 22, 24, and 26. So good variety of needles, and a super cute little needle book that I can use for something. So very fun little extras. So I was thrilled with what I got from the smalls exchange. I'm very excited to add the patriotic, and I used the notions pouch all weekend. I had to empty it out to show it to you guys today. So that is everything. Oh, I did hit the freebie table. I have to bend down to get this stuff, and I'll show you real quick, and then we'll get on. So I did get some kind of random stuff from the freebie table. I took a bunch of charts to put on the freebie table, so I went through it at the beginning, and then I also went through at the end. And at the end, I did grab, there was an embroidery kit for these like bullion roses, and I wanted to learn how to make those, so I grabbed this for the leaves and the flowers. I don't see that it has the fabric, but it does have the floss in it. So usually these come with the pre-printed fabric, but it's got it in there. I can trace it on a piece of fabric, but that way I can have the instructions and everything to maybe figure out how to make those roses, because I think they're very pretty and I don't know how to do them. And this one is another embroidery kit. It does not have the flosses, but it does have the printed fabric. And I don't specifically love the colors they used on here, but it would have instructions for all the different stitches. There's a lot of different things on here, bullion flowers and whatnot. So, and this was there the very last day, so I did grab this one. I thought it could be fun to kind of pick my own stuff. I would like to learn a little more embroidery. I'm not the best at embroidery, but I want to learn more. A super bonus I found, you know, I'll know I love a monthly series, and there was a set of the Lizzie Kate Flippets. These do not have the little charms with them. but, and it is missing January and May. But if I only have to buy 2 for a whole year series, I love series like this, but sometimes like these are marked at $4, and $4 for a whole year would be $48. So, I mean, it ends up being an expensive way to go. So I thought they were really cute and nice small little monthlies to add to my little monthly bowl display thingy that I want to set up. And missing 2, I figured I'll probably go on 1, 2, 3 stitch and see if I can get those 2, just so that I don't miss them if they go out of print or whatever. But worth a try. This is it's a stitching pattern from Periwinkle Promises, and it's called Harvest Celebration, and it is a pumpkin. It looks a little apple-y, so I think I would widen it, like make it a little more plump on the sides, try to plump it out a little bit, extend some of those bands. And I feel like the orange in here might be a little reddish, so I might make it what I would think would be a little more pumpkin-y-ish kind of color. But there are pumpkins along down here, so it's a pumpkin, and they have an apple pattern, which is a little even more apple shaped and got the apple leaf. So I mean, he's a pumpkin. Like I said, I might pumpkin him up, but I really enjoy like band samplers like this, where you get to learn all kinds of different stitches. That's how my Irish Blessing sampler was, so I thought this might be fun. And it is a thick pattern. There are a lot of pages, so there's a lot of instruction in here. So I picked that one up because it could be fun. I love a good Halloween. This is Manny Dodonna, and it's called Ghostly Music Sewing Set. And I'm not certain where the music is, but I thought it was really fun. The ghosts on here are really fun. This I think is super cute with the spiders. And that moon is just like crazy. I don't even know. I need to pull it out and look at what's all on that little pincushiony thing. But I thought it was really a fun Halloween one. Like I said, I really love that spider scissor holder. So, and that at least doesn't look like a ton of stitching. None of it looks like a ton of stitching. So I would need to see, like look at it actually. And then there was a Mill Hill needlepoint canvas. It's this little sheepy. And it didn't come with any of the threads, but it did come with the printed, like it's got the outline of the sheep on the needlepoint canvas. So I think needlepoint is kind of fascinating. They used a lot of specialty stitches on this. It's got a basket weave background. There's like round woolies up there. There's specialty stitches on all of the thing. So it gives you all the instructions on all of that. And I figured I could use some, I don't know, even if I used some of my yarn or something to stitch it with, as opposed to actual floss, like a fingering weight yarn might work to stitch him with. And if I didn't want the whole thing, I could just stitch him and like cut around him and do a shaped finish that's just a cute little sheepy. So I love sheeps. And then my big favorite find from the freebie table was something I wanted anyway, and it is the Feeling Sheepish bag by Kim Deal. So I really wanted to stitch this one. Of all of her like farmhouse bags, the sheep was my favorite one. So I'm really excited to have it. It's charted in Valdani, which I don't know if I will get the Valdanis and do it that way, or if I will try to figure out a DMC conversion. And I think these ones are stitched over 1 square. Yes, size 8 pearl cotton, as opposed to over 2 with the size 5 pearl cotton, like shepherd's bushes usually do. So that's, but I'm really excited about that. So I'll have to maybe get me a bag and get started. And I would like to get some fabric from the line to do the lining, like something that's a light color, so, or the back is at least light colored, so that I can line it with the fabric from the line. So that's what I got from the freebie table. There's some fun random things, nothing that I really needed. So for my plans, I still have my Christmas piece to stitch, my BAP progress, which is what I am putting on the frame and starting tonight, my Words to Live by Tiny Modernist. I'm going to put that on the frame and start it tonight, and then leave it in the hoop so that when May hits, I can get my 400 stitches in May in like quickly. I'll do that near the beginning of the month so that I don't have to rehoop it. Sometimes that slows me down a little bit too, if it's kind of a pain in the butt, because that one I started in the middle and it's a big piece, so I have a lot of fabric to kind of wrangle and get managed, and so I won't tend to pick up pieces like that just randomly. I want something quick and easy. If I can fit the whole thing just in the hoop and get it going, or if it's already in the hoop and I can just stitch on it, then I'm more likely to grab that. And I need to get my stitching in on Maya's Butterflies by Salty Stitcher Designs. There was a couple of the colors that they kind of gave an either or in the sulkies, and the thread pack I got had one of the colors. I mean, they were the colors listed, but the colors on the front were a little bit different. A couple of them were, the more vibrant color was what the model was stitched with, and that's the way I wanted to go, so I ordered a couple of those from 123 Stitch when I ordered my Be Mine chart. So I just need to put those in with it, and I do have to unpick just a little bit that I had started that I didn't think there was enough contrast or as much contrast as I wanted. So I just have to unpick a little bit too and re-put it in with the new colors. So I'm really, really excited to get going on that one again. Then for kind of other crafts, I have, I don't know if I mentioned it when I showed them, but the little flag panel that I made, I have 7 more of those. So I'm doing a little banner bunting thing with the wooden stars for me and my mom. And now that I've finished one of the flag things and I love the way it finished up, I want to get those all done. They were fairly quick and easy, and I know, like I said, what I want to do with them. So I just need to get the backing fabric from my mom for those, because there's a different fabric I'm going to use for ours. It's one we have like in abundance, so I just want to use it up kind of. We have tons of it, and we both used it for several things. So I'd like to get those done, and I would like to get my wooden stars done, the white and blue, and then the stripes, so our little buntings can be done. I think they're going to be so cute, and I'm really excited to see them kind of as a completed idea. We got a pattern at our quilt guild 2 months ago. It's a reversible over-the-shoulder kind of slouch bag, and my mom and I had the great idea that maybe we could make those for beach bags for our trip to Cancun in June. So I have a couple of fabrics to try one out, and then we will see. We have some other upholstery type fabrics or outdoor canvas fabrics that we're making them in so that we can all have cute over-the-shoulder beach bags for our beach stuff when we're on vacation. So I would like to get the first one of those put together. So we know if we want to make, I think we need 6 of them, I think is what we figured out. So if we want to make 5 more, or if one is enough and they're kind of a pain in the booty and we don't want to do anymore. I finished machine quilting my knitting quilt that I have put together. I haven't shown it on here or anything, but the computer design I chose was not a great one, and our machine did not like it, and I stuck with it anyway, and it gave us lots of problems and lots of fits, and we had to have our technician come out and service the machine, and even then it still kind of gave us fits. It was shredding the thread, and then it would mess up the tension, so I would have to adjust that. And it was a fight to get that thing quilted, and it was the design I chose that I thought was perfect. So I have a few areas that I need to on my just domestic machine here behind me, I need to kind of restitch over, like just little sections. There's 3 of them, I think. And then I need to bury my ends and then trim it. And I would like to find a binding for it. It's our quilt shop hop starts actually today and goes through next Saturday. So we're going to hit a few quilt shops in the next week. So I'm hoping to find a binding for it then. So I'm hoping that it will be fully complete by next time I see you, so I can show you my finished quilt. I haven't had one of those like bound and everything for a while. And then, I have a bunch of clothing repair stuff to do. I have shorts to fix for my brother. I have pants and shorts to fix for my husband. My daughter, we got her new pants that need pleats put in it, a new dress that needs the straps shortened. My niece's dress from Phantom, she needs shortened. It was too long and it tore the bottom. It was kind of a tiered thing, and the bottom tier got torn, so I need to cut that off and do a rolled hem. So I do have a bunch of clothing repair to do too. So, but it's all good. I love that I can fix things. We're having a hard time finding shorts for my daughter that are long enough, because they're also short, and she's a skinny mini and has really long legs, so she needs kind of a smaller size. Then with the long legs, the short shorts just don't look great. So we found her a pair of pants at the thrift store that I'm going to try shortening into Bermuda shorts. So I also need to do that and see how that goes. So that's kind of my plans for the next month. I should be back end of May. It might be the very beginning of June. May's kind of a crazy time. We get out of school, and we get out of school right at Memorial Day weekend. So we usually go camping Memorial Day weekend, and we usually go camping the next weekend. And then after that, we're leaving for Cancun. And then we'll get back, and I think we have like a weekend, and then it's the 4th of July. So it might be a little crazy. There might be a little, maybe less crafting because of that. I'm not sure. I should be able to come back sometime in May. If not before Memorial Day, it might be the very beginning of June. Kind of that break between Memorial Day and when we go to Cancun that I pop on. So hopefully I will see you then, and hopefully I get a lot more crafting accomplished and whatnot. I'm excited to share with you what I get up to next. All right, so until next month, have a Rosie Ray day. Bye.